Azusa, Sequillo, you know what it is. You better be aware. It's go time, make it clear. Front line soldiers know they got the guns in the gear. Yo, this one for the highlights. I need no competition, wipe your whole team when we get up in the gunfight. Yo, we them warriors, top-notch soldiers. On to the T, got the guns and explosives. Empty the clip, let off the whole round. Get your whole team clapping, them bodies hit the ground. Yo, step into a G, then you know what's going down. You didn't know, homie, I'ma let you know now. Full force, know the team got the sauce, and it's time to get it lit. Time to show them who the boss, yo. Them bullets thumping and they always hit something, and they don't stop coming. Got everybody running, yo. So we the warriors, top-notch soldiers. On to the T with the guns and explosives. Time to get it in, ready for war. And then no turning back, homie, time to settle the score, yo. Time to get it in, ready for war. And yeah, we take them all on, then we ready for more. Let's go. Time to get it in, ready for war. And ain't no turning back, homie, time to settle the score. Time to get it in, ready for war. And yeah, we take them all on, and then we ready for more. Let's go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to VRML's Onward series. We are into the quarterfinals of the full season. We've got Grimtide versus Full Send, formerly known as Flashbangers. This is going to be a great one. Both teams with a master pedigree duking it out for their spot in the finals. If ever there's going to be an upset, this seems to be the place for it. I am Firesoul, and welcome to the VRML network. If you've never heard of us, be sure to visit vrml.com to learn more, find your favorite teams, and cheer for them. Everybody in the chat, welcome. Thank you guys for coming in. All right. Hello, everybody. Who's excited? Who's hype? Are you guys ready for this? Let's see it down in the chat. I want to see what you guys think of this matchup. We have yet to get bans from both teams, unorthodox, as we are at the 8 minutes 54 second mark. We're going to be looking into that to see if we can get some more information for you guys, but we have got a doozy coming up. All right, I'm going to go hunt down the lobby for tonight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be starting up soon. Warm up that popcorn. Get ready for some exciting gameplay.
Why would you? Can't believe you've done this. Can't believe you've done this.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have confirmed map one. Map one is going to be Bazaar. Grimtide on home side, choosing Bazaar for map one. This map has a great deal of verticality added to it in the most recent update, and if you're not ready for it, it can catch you by surprise, as this map has added a slew of new rooftops that you need to watch out for. If you do not utilize those, you are putting yourself at an immediate disadvantage. Both teams should know this, so this is going to be curious to see how they manage to adapt to the new map. All right. Objective is going to be what's known as D block. Inside of this courtyard, there are several cap spots, one on the outside of the wall just next to uplink, and a couple of positions out by the tree that tend to be utilized. Otherwise, smoke necessary for this push. We're going to see a lot of early aggression as teams fight for control of the rooftop just outside of uplink if you go slightly higher up. All right. So we have, for both teams, we have not received bans. I'm still not certain whether or not the teams have banned maps. If they haven't, that is a power play for both teams, as they are just accepting that anything goes. You'll see a lot of the players from Grimtide having a very powerful season, as you see a lot of familiar faces coming out of Full Send. Let's keep an eye out for those objective pushes. In particular, we've seen a lot of caps this season on the objective from Grimtide. I'm expecting to see Crusader make a hard push on those uplinks if he's playing tonight. Otherwise, we're going to see some really strong and consistent play from both teams. Maybe a couple of mix-ups here and there. If a mix-up happens, I'm expecting it to come from Grimtide's side. Full Send. Veterans of the game, we're going to see a lot of high-level play from these pros, so be sure to stick around, keep an eye out on that, watch and learn. As we're waiting for both teams to fill in, just waiting on the last couple players to trickle in. There's still 9 minutes on the clock before we are required to start this matchup. If you're here, take this time to get some water, get yourself situated. Don't forget to hydrate and get ready for the excitement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break while we double check everything on our end, make sure everything's good to go, and we will see you guys in a very short while for round one. All right, we are still on Suburbia, waiting for the last couple players to trickle in. Going to be an exciting start. This objective is not favorable for one team over the other, in my opinion. However, with the addition of the new rooftop, we will expect to see a little bit more Marsoc play as they contest for that rooftop. Taking control of that is going to determine the winner of this round. See how Full Send is able to A, stop them from pushing up, or B, make it so that there is no value out of being up there. Although that is a tall order as we look into the matchup here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we still have 6 minutes of leeway, and we're waiting on one more player before we get started. We are going to be getting started any minute now. Don't look away. As you all know, if you look away for even a moment, that is the moment that the time strikes. Let's take a look at the bracket and get an idea of where we are in this season final. We have had 2 of our 4 matchups happen already. Dark Tidings versus Left Right, Classified versus Wrecking Crew. Classified and Left Right will be moving forward and facing each other. Now we go into Grimtide versus Full Send. And Mayhem and Aging Moss OG will be played on Sunday. Be sure to come and visit on Fire Soul. You will see more of that on my channel. And welcome Super Uvid to Sergio's channel. Sergio not here tonight at the moment. More of a filling in role for me at the moment as we go into map 1 of Grimtide versus Full Send. Are you guys excited? I want to see it in the chat. I've got stories and personal stories going on in the chat. Isometric apologizing for TK and Crusader. That's a lot of grief to be holding, that you're apologizing this far later. I respect your commitment. Let's do this as we're waiting for one more player. Last player we're waiting on. Put the groceries away, put the kids to bed, and get your butt in here. Ladies and gentlemen, not Suburbia, what am I saying? Bazaar, fan favorite to ad nauseum, if I'm being honest, as most players, you either love this map or you hate that everybody loves this map. This is a map that gets played very often if you've ever played this game. If you've never played this game, first and foremost, welcome to the channel. This is VRML Esports for VR, and you will see some incredible gameplay from these pros as we will see some push-ups and some aggression coming out and some patience that you have never seen the likes of. This is Onward. Onward has a very low time to kill, similar to CSGO and similar games. 1 shot to the head and it's over. 2 or 3 shots to the body is all it takes, depending on the weapon you're using. And you will see a lot of high-level play. It might not look it from a moment's glance, but believe you me, it is much more difficult than you think. It is not like your typical point-and-click shooter. You do not get to point a mouse at the screen and press the trigger. You have to physically aim a firearm in VR and aim down sights. It is very smooth, and why it's such a big fan favorite of the VR community. You're going to see a lot of cool gameplay that you didn't think was possible, if we're being completely honest, and it's going to be exciting. Onward, so take full advantage of Onward is a game that is very low time to kill and very high skill ceiling as they push towards this uplink. The game mode we are playing tonight is called Uplink. The main goal is to get to the satellite dish on 1, and if you can get to that satellite dish, you have control of 2 whole full rounds worth of winning. The goal is to kill the entire other team 1 by 1 until there are none left. If you are sat at home and you are watching on a mobile phone, first and foremost, thank you for coming in. Second and foremost, if you have a TV, this is streaming in 4K, so if you'd like to, you can pop this onto the TV, watch the game, and be ready for some action. As we wait for the last player to come in, it looks like the last player for Full Set has come in tonight, so we will be getting started any minute now as both teams are now in their tents, communicating with their respective captains and getting ready with the game plan. All right, we're going to take a very, very short break. Don't go anywhere as we wait for round 1. As soon as round 1 starts, I will see you back here in a second.
Yeah, hunker down. Don't get picked off.
I told you, we're right back into it. The moment you look away is the moment that an enemy rushes forward in front of you. As it looks like Grimtide getting the east side spawn is going to make a hard rush straight at the objective. And here comes that early aggression we were talking about. Nobody from Full Send is contesting the roof, which means Grimtide is going to take control of the roof. Mystery getting in position to watch for the push on road. No heavy push either. Full Send fully committing to letting Grimtide get in position as they expected the other spawn. Crusader now on the rooftop, going to be a thorn in Full Send side. Reaper doing the same as Darren Clark's going to take down Mystery on the road. There goes the refrags from Whiskey. Darren Clark goes down. We have 4 versus 4. 2 Grimtide on the roof, 2 Grimtide on the ground, and 4 Full Send on objective.
One's in the bridge building.
As we see the main road push has not been contested whatsoever. We're going to see Death on the south side making a rotation. Going to be running into Carson soon. There's the angle. Carson goes down to Death. A fitting name. The kill feed showing the truth. Grimtide up 4 to Full Send's 3, 2 of which are on the rooftop in a strong position. Whiskey across the road. As we see Bub and No Zone on the uplink.
I'm gonna toss a flash too.
Looks like we have a bit of a standstill as Crusader's going to rotate down off of the roof. Recognize that he got as much value as they're going to get out of it. Reaper staying up to give comms, it seems.
Good throw.
Speaking of which, I know you're used to Call of Duty lobbies. You can talk to your teammates whenever, but in this game, you need to physically do so with a radio on your shoulder. Whiskey's going to take down No Zone, leaving it a 4 versus 2 favor Grimtide. Bub on uplink as Raz is going to be in the back line watching that final cross. Here comes the smoke on link from Reaper as Death is going to take down Raz. Bub last up on uplink. He's going to have to full crash to uplink or risk the cap. Here comes all of the utility in the world, and Bub's going to trade with Crusader. Best case scenario for Full Send. Grimtide takes round 1. Take a look at this, folks. We have the early, we have the strong smokes on uplink, forcing the crash from the final defender on Full Send. Grimtide taking full advantage of the rooftop on this uplink, giving them all the power. Very, very nicely done from Grimtide. I would say textbook even. Full Send, playing it back, really hoping for that other spawn, not getting it, and losing control of the roof. Looks like they committed to the stay back play, and it did not work out for them on this round. However, that's just this uplink. We have several more to go, as we're going to be getting prepared for the next round coming in roughly 60 seconds or so. This is going to be a good one, folks. I can already tell. Friendly reminder to everybody watching, hydrate. This is your reminder to drink some water. Thirsty? This is sponsored by water. Drink water. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting into the next round shortly as we take a look at the scores for any standouts. We don't see anything too crazy. It looks like Death and Whiskey making up for the entirety of the kills for Grimtide, 2 and 3 apiece respectively, as Full Send's going to get the opposite side spawn. Now, here's an interesting note to fact. Grimtide getting the opposite spawn, knowing the full value of that rooftop, are they going to contest just as hard, assuming that Full Send got that spawn, or are they going to play a more east side coverage approach as we see Death crossing? Here comes the push from Full Send. Shots fired. The spawn has been identified as Mystery is going to go down to Raz. Correction, other way around. Raz goes down to Mystery. I do that quite often. Bad habit. No Zone, Darren, Carson all in position on center Kiat as Death has rotated into the flank and taken out Carson. Oh, sorry, that's Carson taking out Crusader. Nade comes out, does not connect. Nade comes back. Flash does not catch. Actually, it might have caught Mystery. Mystery reflashing. That is a burn detail, and now Mystery goes down to a perfectly placed grenade. Carson cleans him up. Death gonna go take down Darren Clark on the far end. Death is now in position to go for the flank on No Zone and Carson. No Zone and Carson at high risk to death. No pun intended. As we see a lull in the moments, Whiskey gonna reposition in the back line. Death waiting for that chance to clear out the rest of the offenders. Full send on the push for Main Street, now contesting, watching towards scaffolding. No Zone probably calling out footsteps in the area. Bub taking no chances. Good, smart, competitive, and cautious play. Nade comes out from No Zone, clears the road, shows the road a thing or two. Carson in position on Kiat as we see Grimtide, 3 players up. Reaper and Whiskey on uplink. Death is going to be the one to watch out for, as we're going to see a heavy push-up. Looks like Death getting in position to stop that final cross, and Full Send taking too long to do it as Bub is going to go down to Death. That is going to be the pick that determines this round, as Full Send now stuck in a rough between a rock and a hard place position. They need to clear Death to even start to approach uplink, but once they clear Death, all it is Whiskey and Reaper on uplink. I say that, but that's still a difficult task to make. Heavy reposition coming out of Carson. Coming up far in the north side, gonna full flank Death. Death stuck in a position where he has to cross back to uplink, excuse me. That is going to be a difficult cross for him, or so he assumes. In this case, No Zone and Carson both no longer watching road. Death could cross, but he does not know that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have every view. They do not. So we get the spectator's advantage of being able to backseat game this. Death gonna cross to tank. He's taking it slow. He's taking it cautious, but he knows he should come back to uplink. He's gotten his kills. He's gotten his value. And if he doesn't cross soon, Carson's going to pick him. Carson doesn't see him. Death sees him first. Carson's going to go out way in the open with gun down as Death is going to pick him off. Death picking off more than half the team here and the rest of it. Death comes for us all, and that is more than true here. Let's take another look at that. Look at this swing out. Carson not seeing it. Death fully aware. Beautiful control on that flick as the last player peeks out and Death commits. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break in before the next round. I'm going to reposition it so that it sees cap spot. I like being able to see all the cap spots on this link. It's a top-down view, so if you hit one, you'll see a nice top-down view of Link. Look at that. W Fire Soul in chat. Yeah, you know what? Take that W back. I don't deserve it. Like and subscribe coming from Draven. Yes, you've got the energy. I like that. Like and subscribe. You guys do it for me, so it's not shameless plugs. It's cool. Totally allowed. If you say it, it's cool. I can't say it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very cap-heavy objective as we're going to see a push-out from the current team on offense is Grimtide on a heavy push into the west side uplink that I do not know the official name of because I've never bothered. I always just called it west side. We're going to see a lot of control, hopefully, from both teams as Grimtide gets the tank spawn, which is the farther away of the two spawns. Let's see if anybody can test from full. full send to the road. Looks like Bub is going to contest. All right, here comes the first engagement. Should be Carson getting in position.
Behind those pallets. He's at that
Mystery holding, waiting for that person to flank out onto him. And nobody is going to present a target for Mystery. Mystery is going to accept that and move back in. Looks like Full Send has gotten into a tight position on uplink. No caps allowed here. Nobody's hard pushing except for one. Take a look at Darren Clark on 2. He is going to be pushing out the backside. As we see a heavy flank from Darren. Here. Better 2. That's Darren. F is going to be pushing up in the north behind him as Reaper is going to take down Carson. Carson, the main control that Full Send has of the road. Everybody else on link. So this is going to be interesting as Mystery and No Zone are going to trade on 3. Raz is going to take down Death as well. It looks like Grimtide pushing out and getting picked off. We're going to see a lot of control coming from Full Send as they are playing high and tight. Nobody's able to get picked off. They're waiting for the rest of Grimtide to get comfortable and push in. Raz is going to take down Bob. Oh, he's got him funny and he does not like it. He's going to pick him off. He said something about his mother. I do not know. We're going to see Darren Clark is not crashing yet as we see Reaper and Crusader and Whiskey in position for the final push. Full Send as a whole player off the uplink doing nothing right now. This could cost him the rest of this map as Whiskey's going to take down Raz. Crusader's in on the link. 1,000, 1,000. There we go. 1.5 seconds, boys and girls. That's what a professional looks like. Let's take another look at that. We noticed that 3 players from Grimtide on the uplink making that final cross. No other players from Full Send left as they go in for that final finish on Raz, and Raz going down marks the nail in the coffin. A very unfortunate way for that to go. Well done from Grimtide. Let's take a look at these scores. As Grimtide, full control of Bazaar, their map pick. Full Send's going to need to make something happen on the next map pick, because it seems like Grimtide has sent a message. You cannot and will not make mistakes against us because you will be punished. Full Send needs to tighten up their game going into this map too. As a general rule, we're going to actually go into a short break for map 2. We'll get back to you with which map we're going into in just a little bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have confirmed map 2, Snow Peak. It looks like Full Send fully committing into their controlled play style on the last map. Now, on Bazaar, we expect to see some aggression, and the teams that take the most map control tend to win. On Snow Peak is a different story. The teams that are the most patient and provide the least amount of players to pick off tends to go their way, so we should see a paradigm shift going into this next map as we get ready for the teams to start. Ladies and gentlemen, first objective is going to be North Hangar. North Hangar, very known for being snipe heavy, so this is going to be a long-range battle whether you like it or not, as we see the defenders pushing out into their respective positions. Mystery, hard crossing across the ice lake. We're going to keep an eye out for him, as it looks like Full Send has gotten the farthest possible spawn. Mystery is going to go to Pillbox, I assume. Yes, that will be Pillbox. Pillbox, very powerful position, very common. I expect to see teams of this caliber pre-made that, so let's see if Full Send can do anything about it. Death, gonna get into engagement with No Zone. No Zone drops to the ground. He's not down and out. He's gonna be peeking as cautiously as he can, using as much cover as he can. Death and No Zone trading blows. No Zone praying. Oh, you can see a double trade come out from Death and No Zone. Both of them trying to make the most out of their cover. Shoutouts to No Zone for making that one little hill look like a fortress. Well played. A fair trade comes out from Grimtide and Full Send, both going 4-4. Mystery in a power position, as we see Darren Clark is sneaking up the back side. We're going to keep an eye on Mystery as the rest of Horseshoe starts to make a push. Very nice play. So you notice a lot more calm a start on Snow Peak than we're used to on Bazaar. Two very different maps. Raz now playing it patiently. He does not know the outcome of that fight over near Horseshoe. So we don't know, he doesn't know enough to be able to just rush out, which is going to cost him a lot of time, which means Grimtide's hard push player is now going to cost Full Send a chunk of time that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Bub is going to take down Mystery on the long angle. That is big for Full Send. Every pick matters on this uplink. As Crusader is going to do the exact same. Darren Clark goes down. One shot, one kill. Didn't even see it coming. We've had Whiskey and Reaper direct on uplink, making sure there's no chance of cap. As Crusader is going for those picks to try and whittle down Full Send. 3 versus 3 at the moment. Carson finally coming out of Horseshoe. Raz in that back line. He's going to try and contest Crusader, I assume. Crusader playing on the Hescos just outside of Guard Tower, as opposed to the more common spot of behind the wall. Much safer, as the wall is soft cover. Seems to be favoring Crusader on this round. As we see the rest of the push coming out from Full Send as time starts to whittle away. 3 minutes on the clock. Carson and Raz need to make a push-up, but they can't make any missteps or they will be punished by that bolt action in the back. The final player for Full Send still playing on that far side. This is going to get interesting any moment now. But for the moment, we are in that scary lull zone where every player is scanning, looking anywhere they can to find a body and pray they don't get picked off from somewhere they don't see, as Bub is going to make a full rotation into the the west side. Crusader is going to punish Raz. That is what we're talking about. Every time you expose yourself to any new angles, you need to be ready that you could get picked at any moment. Crusader taking down another. Full Send now in a disadvantaged position, as we see there is a good pincer action coming from Carson and from Bub, but without the ability to clear out Crusader, and even if they do, they cannot afford to trade with Crusader, as there are still 2 Volk on the defense in the hangar that must be cleared out. There is no longer a chance for cap for full send, but right now they're just trying to take the round. Take a look at Carson as he's going to be coming into the view of Crusader soon. Bub really needs to get rid of him. That's going to be a smoke coming out from Bub, alerting Crusader to his position. Crusader no longer watching towards Carson, which means Carson has an opportunity to try and take out two, but that is the risk. He's going to go down to Whiskey on the uplink, which means Bub is the only one left and his position is burned. Grimtide, fully aware that he's there. This is not the momentum that Full Send needs. Full Send really needs to take the win here and secure a strong snow peak. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the quarterfinals. It is sudden death elimination. Losing this map means Full Send would be out of the tournament entirely. They need to get this win so we can go to a map 3 and you guys get more to watch. Here we go. Up, Crusader. That's the nade out on what is that, a buoy? I don't know what it's called. Pier. As Crusader's gonna pick off Bub with his pistol. And Full Send is going to lose the first round of Snow Peak. Grimtide takes their defense round. Ladies and gentlemen, this is shaping up to be a very difficult Snow Peak if we go of this route. Paying attention to Grimtide playing that objective perfectly. I have no notes, which is not something I normally say. Full Send also played that quite well. Only took very, very minute mistakes. Bear in mind that all it takes is a simple misstep. Just you go into the wrong section of the area, you end up with no cover for a half a second, and that is all it takes to lose a body. Every little mistake will be punished. As we get ready for the next round, we're going to take a very short break. Here we go. We're going into the next round as Full Send now has to take their chance at defending this uplink. Grimtide, can they pull off what Full Send could not? Or will Full Send show them that it's just the uplink and there is not a significant difference? Let's get ready for the next round. It looks like Grimtide has gotten the quick spawn in the north. Everything I said about last round, ignore that. It's quick spawn time. Heavy aggression coming out from Grimtide. They're going to throw their weapons for that little bit of extra movement speed as Whiskey, Mystery, and Death all in the open, rushing out. Bub just got viewed by Mystery. Mystery goes into full engagement mode. Death watching around the corner. Bub's going to go down to Whiskey. One body against four. That is not a fair fight by any means. We're going to see heavy push from Grimtide as Full Send now on full defense mode on the backside of uplink. Needs to be able to pick them off on these crosses. However, Grimtide not showing a lot of positions that they can be shot from. Getting into position for those peaks and trying to bait out those shots to find out where the defenders are. Masterful use. They are. So they are fully relaxed and playing smart. Look at this push-up. They all got into position, and now they're just waiting for somebody to fire their weapon so they have a target. They are an army without a target. Whiskey is going to take out Darren. Manages to pick him off. He found a target. It looks like Grimtide going to play this patient and wait until they can pick off each defender from getting over peaky before they make a final push in. Still 5 up against 3. Folks, this is going to be a tough one. Grimtide has gotten up and deep. Full Send has no players that can go for flank, no players that can stop final cross, and no players that can safely peek without getting picked off. They just have to wait for Grimtide to come in, hoping that Grimtide starts the push at the wrong moment that somebody happens to be watching. This is going to be an uphill struggle for Full Send to be able to get some momentum on Snow Peak as we see Death and Mystery crossing in the open. This is Full Send's only opportunity to get a bunch of picks before Grimtide gets irreversibly close to the uplink. Mystery coming up on Carson. Death, a pincer action. Carson knows he's there. He can hear the snow. That's a flash, and it doesn't catch him. The grenade doesn't catch him either. Death narrowly avoiding death by some miracle. Raz does not get caught with that M203. Full Send still having two players on uplink. Death and Mystery in the back line. That is not where you want to have a Marsoc. Raz gets smoked out. Death carefully clearing every corner. He's going to rush into Raz. Raz is going to take him out. No, Death is on link. And that's the cap. Ladies and gentlemen, Grimtide gets a second cap of this match. Let's take another look at that. Heavy push in. They recognize that they are capable of pushing the uplink without any contest. Smokes every angle they can. And as soon as Death took down Raz, there was just no hope for the defender on Full Send to be able to get there in time. You cannot lose sight of the uplink for more than 3 seconds without giving up a full cap. Let's take a look at these scores. Ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of this match, this needs to be a full blowout or Full Send. Full Send needs to win every single round from here to the end of this map to stay in this and stay in this North America final. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are watching, be sure to like and subscribe the video. Stick around. We have more quarterfinal matches coming up, and then we'll be getting into the semifinals. And then after that, guess what? The finals. You got it. All right, we're going into the new uplink on the next round, potentially the final round. Every round is now the final round from here on out, as we get the South Hangars. South Hangars, a similar situation to the North Hangar in the sense that you need those picks. Snow Peak, a very pick-heavy map. Players getting out into position. If you guys are watching and you have water nearby, this is your reminder, drink water. It looks like Full Send getting the farthest possible spawn on the east side. All right, as we see Death coming into the south side, he's going to take shots at Carson. Bubba and Raz stuck by Death. They need to clear out Death if they're going to make any sort of push. Mystery coming in from behind to give Death a hand. Teamwork as a flash comes out from Death. Does catch them. He has no way of confirming. Extra flash comes out from Mystery and a nade downs Bub. Bub needs to get rezzed immediately. Raz is not going to go for the res. Raz, internal monologue, says, nah, we win this, as Mystery is going to take down Carson. Carson goes down. No Zone does not refrag. Mystery gets a free pick. No Zone rotates away, gives up on the fight. Full Send now has a knocked player in the south. No way to res. The rest of the team goes down in the south. No Zone retreating back to get over to Darren Clark, waiting for one of those players to push up and get a little too aggressive, and he does. Here comes Death. Death goes down to No Zone. Darren's going to take down Crusader on uplink. Full Send has brought it back to a 2v3. Whiskey and Mystery still in the south. Whiskey going for that flank as well. This is going to be interesting. If No Zone can get one more pick, that actually puts Full Send in a good position. If he cannot, then that is going to spell certain doom for Full Send. No Zone needs to get this pick. Whiskey needs to get overconfident and push too far in order for Full Send to have a shot. There is a saying. You guys are sick of me saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Not every game is winnable, but every game is throwable. Currently, Grimtide has this match in the bag. If Whiskey overextends, however, that will change everything. Mystery takes down No Zone in the north. That is going to be huge for Grimtide, leaving Full Send with only one player remaining. That is the flank that finished that player. Bub, now last up. Sorry, Bub, not last up. Bub last down. My apologies, as Darren Clark is last up. Whiskey in the South does give call-outs as Darren's going to take down Mystery, but get traded in the process. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, Grimtide goes on to the North America semifinals. Congratulations for both teams for making this far, and congratulations to Grimtide for moving forward. That was a very one-sided, but a very entertaining game nonetheless. Lots of aggression, lots of clever play. Both teams playing fantastically well. It just came down to small mistakes, and those small mistakes need to be capitalized on. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been Fire Soul. You've been here on Sergio's channel. Welcome to VRML. And everybody, come on down. We're going to have more matches coming in for you as we have more going on Sunday. Same time, same place. Not same place, actually. Come on over to me. We're going to go hang out on my channel for a bit, and we're going to be going through this again. Good games to everybody. Good luck. Good game. Let's run it. Good night, everyone.